Hallelujah. 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 You, King of you are worthy. You are worthy. And you are of Lord. We worship you in Jesus' name. Father, we thank you for a day like this. We thank you because you have made it possible for us to be gathered here. Thank you, O God, for ideas to impart our communities. It is by your grace, O God, that every idea here was formed. And so far, we have lined up today, and we are asking, Lord Jesus, that you take charge in the name of Jesus Christ. We pray, oh God, that for every person that will have encounter with the judges, that they will not only feel bad if their ideas are not picked, but also they will see it as a way to do better and improve more on their ideas. In the name of Jesus, we ask, oh God, that you glorify yourself, glorify your name in this event here today and forever. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Please let's sit down. Thank you so much, Mrs. Etumonua. Once again, you're all welcome. All right, so we're going to invite. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I know we are cold. So I want to welcome every one of you to our 2026 A2S pitch competition. Please put your hands together for yourselves. So my name is Faith Ikena, and I am the Entrepreneur Empowerment Program Coordinator. So in Nigeria, a significant number of businesses, particularly small and medium enterprises, struggle to survive or fail within the first few years due to factors like poor financial management, inability to access resources, mentorship, and support systems. Also, most businesses fail because of integrity related issues or cases, failing to meet up to expectations and projecting what they cannot really offer. So that is why the team came together and we came up with the A2S Business Masterclass. And this masterclass was a 16-week intensive, it was made, sorry, it was a 16-week intensive session. All right. So we have 23 participants who successfully went through this masterclass. And the key features includes training and mentorship from our African and business leaders. And the sessions also include faith-based soft skill and hard skill sessions. We also had access to entrepreneur resources. And so far, today, the top 23, out of the top 23, 10 of them will be pitching to us, where we'll have the top five and another top five. Please put your hands together for yourself. And the masterclass covered curriculums such as vision mapping, financial literacy, pricing strategy, mental health, and entrepreneurial wellness, data-driven decision making, and sustainable. Congratulate everyone who has made it this far. And for those of you who did not make it this far, I want to congratulate you because I know during the application process, we had people who were scared, who were asking questions like, I've never done this before. I don't think I'll be able to. Do you think I'll be able to? Do you think I'll be able to? And I saw someone this morning and I told her, I said, I am very proud of you. And I meant it from her heart because I remembered when she came for the interview and she just told us a lot. Like, I'm scared. I've not done this. I've never gone through any school before. I've never gone through this. But I was surprised that she was able to stay through to the master class and she did her assignment. This is someone that's never had access to a computer to even do anything on the computer before, but she was able to do her assignment. So for every one of you who did not make it so far, trust me, you're already a winner coming through the masterclass. And guess what? This is the first cohort. So that makes you a winner. And for those of you that will be pitching today, mind you, you will not be pitching alone. You'll be pitching with our A2S scholars. Scholars, put your hands together for yourself. So you'll be pitching with our A2S scholars today. So I want to implore every one of you to bring your best foot forward. All right. Fine, you're going to be tensed, you're going to be scared, but just bring in your best. You never know who is watching. And to everyone here came to support their families and friends, I want to thank you for coming today. Just help us to cheer them up, okay? And to our staff members who helped us through the process, trust me, 16 weeks is no joke. I want to say a very big thank you to all our staff members and the EEP team. Thank you all so much. And to our mentors, our US and African business leaders, thank you so much for your time, for helping us through the past 16 weeks. All of you are amazing and you rock. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Faith Ikenna. All right. So the plan is to start with a workshop, and we'll be having Mr. Andrew Tossin that will be taking us through the session of building a vision-driven team. How many of us have a team of one or two people? If you have a team of one or two, how you want to communicate your vision to them? Let me see your hand. Awesome. So we have Mr. Andrew this morning that will be taking us through this session. I'm just going to read his bio for a few minutes. Mr. Andrew Tolson is a seasoned financial experience in financial planning, operations, organization growth. He has held senior leadership roles across the financial services and cross-functional collaboration. So please, with a round of applause, let's make welcome Mr. Andrew Tolson. Please let's sustain the applause till it gets here. Let's sustain the applause. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for doing this.
Hello? Go. Oh. Good morning, everybody. Congratulations on the faculty for fellow. So today it's a privilege and an honor to speak with you today. We're going to be talking a bit about teams and vision, the growth, expansion of your company or future company. I understand that some of you have team members, which is great. It's going to be applicable today. But for some folks, it'll be applicable in the future. So hopefully some of these concepts are things that you can take with you and move forward. I'm also going to ask some of the founders in the room or some of the business leaders in the room if we have interactions and people have questions. I have not started my own business. I've had the fortunate opportunity to work with founders to help grow businesses from the very early stages. But there's people who have more expertise than me. So if you guys feel like you want to add some context or background, that would be wonderful. So this is really meant to be a workshop versus a lecture. So the more interaction we have, participation, the better it'll be. Ideally, the less I talk, probably the more value this will be. Okay, so does everybody have handouts? Are they still coming around? All right. So just a couple of quick objectives from the workshop, what we want. Understand why businesses become trapped around the founder. Identify characteristics of people with ownership and leadership potential. Understand a simple framework for delegation and decision making. I'm excited about this one to share with you. And then identify systems that can help your business move in a more efficient manner. So part one, this is a bit of a thought exercise. We're gonna do a couple thought exercises today. Just get your mind going, get your hand on a piece of paper, writing, thinking about things. As business leaders, as very busy people, we have a tendency to just go to the next thing, rather than take a step back, pause, think, reflect, and strategize. And so take this time to do that, whether you're in the middle of the hustle and the bustle or that will be coming in the future. You can be planning ahead. Okay, so part one, my business to your business. Now, again, if you're the only person working, it's a little bit easier to answer that question, or it's more dramatic than it is if you have a team. But give it some thought and put some pen to paper. Consider what would stop, what would continue, and what would surprise you the most. Here and talk about what things would look like if they disappeared for 30 days. Anyone? All right, just anybody, what would happen, do you think, of a sustained business with the founder?
I would be dealing with stolen products, theft, yes, and others may not end up fulfilled. Like out of 100% of others, may end up fulfilling maybe 50%.
Thank you for that. So stolen goods, confusion, sales slowing down. Anybody else? Yes, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So, if I disappear for 10 days, my business will continue because I have someone that can communicate with each other everything I'm doing.
You do have somebody who's, oh, that's good for you. So I may call on you later for some other stuff, okay? What's your name? Ruth? Okay, thank you, Ruth. All right, so let's keep going. So if you're for yourselves is when you're in this early survival mode, that makes sense, right? Every business as it starts, that's where the founder is. But the goal is to evolve to the point where you're not reliant on everything. Everything doesn't have to come back to you as the choke point. One thing to consider is what would change in your life if you were able to, if your business could operate for a week without you? Would you have more stress, more time to think, right? You're limited by, your growth is limited by you if you are the choke point, right? Because you have to rely on other people. And then two, just for your own personal health and spiritual health, you need to be able to step away, right? Which is important. And the growth of your team, right? You can't, if you want people to grow, they need to be able to get out in the world and be challenged. All right, so let's go to part two. And this is where vision starts to get into play. So consider, what problem does your business solve today? And it's really how you communicate to your employees what you do. And this is the connecting the vision with your vision, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that your employees or your customers share that vision. And to convey that is a very powerful thing. And it's not simple to write these down. What problem does my business solve today? And then there's kind of two facets of that. So my business exists too, but rewrite it as we help people. So an example of, I sell bread. The vision is I help families eat, right? See the difference? Powerful difference between those. Practically speaking, they could be the same thing, but how you share your vision, what gets you up in the morning, it's important to convey that to your employees so they can also be motivated by that to the extent that it's possible, but also your customers. So just take a moment to kind of, what does your business do? And then how would you reframe it Right, does anybody have a good example that they want to share? Kind of the basic stuff, basic view of what I do today. I sell bread, I feed families. Does anybody want to share that, the from to vision? And even if it's not a business you have today, but it's something you want to do, but the way you, yes, please. Mr. Fumi, could you, thank you. Thank you, Shadrach.
Solve their something.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Anyone else it today, or did this make you think a little bit different? Yeah. So this isn't new news necessarily? Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right, let's move on to part 3, which is future leaders. And I understanding their business, or those who, when they start their business, something to keep in mind. So if you have an employee, this exercise is simpler. If you don't have an employee, consider more hypothetically, what are the things you would look for? Or as you've had a job, you've looked at other employees and you're like, wow, that person really stands out. So think about your best employee, coworker, or teammate you've ever known, and what made them special. So give that some thought. What quality, honesty was it? Problem solving. What are some of the characteristics that you saw? All right, I'm going to ask for volunteers again. Any volunteers? Some things that, I mean, some of it's pretty obvious, but like not all of it is, and it's worth repeating at the very least. So, any thoughts on things that are important to you, or employees that you have today that make individuals really stand out amongst their peers? Right. Yeah, I was going to say I need somebody who actually.
Yeah, I'm here.
I think it's kind of rich among people thinking that's something that's want to who people have two ways. Like in this room, I think finding people who have spirit, like followers, and the ability to reach it.
Yeah. Thank you, Gio. Anyone else want to share some thoughts on? Please. Good morning.
Quick thinkers. People like when something comes up, they're able to say, okay, what happens to come in and they can easily figure out
Yeah.
that's yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. That's a good one, and not always. Yes, another one. Ruth.
Just to add to what I've been saying, good customer service.
Hmm.
Because we deal with customers, and if we don't have good customer service, our business will not try. Who will buy our products? So someone that has good customer service.
Someone who cares, right? They have to care, right? And you can't. It's tough to train that. It's either there or it's not there, right? Which is good. So I don't know how much of this group was a part of the career strategic thinking that I was fortunate enough to do a few days ago last week. Was thinking about your career strategically, how to get noticed, how to move up the ladder. Well, echoing what Gio said, if the person who repeatedly makes the same mistake again, that's tough, right? But when someone's like, hey, all right, continue to cultivate. One of the things that my boss stresses tremendously is ownership, right? So taking ownership of a problem to end. I own this. If I can't figure it out, I will bring in other people, but I'm not going to just let it sit, right? And that's one of the next kind of activities just to kind of think about is customer service, Ruth. You mentioned that, right? So a customer calls as a leader, but I have to say that as a leader, it's very refreshing and it's very powerful when someone will come to you with recommendations and say, hey, here's what I'm seeing. Here's the problem. Closest to the problem typically knows the answer best. They can see it best. Sometimes you need to be able to step back and see from a distance, but people who are closest to the problem often have the ability to make the best decisions about it. If I'm not dealing with something on a day-to-day basis, I probably don't have the expertise to say, this is how you should handle it. In fact, I probably will give the wrong advice and make it worse, right? Every time, and it's always going to be the right solution. But the idea that you're thinking about solutions is very important. So keep an eye out for folks like that. All right, did I skip ahead? Okay. Any questions? I haven't asked for anybody. Does anybody have any questions? At any time, just either blurt out or raise your hand or stand up. Yes, please, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, quality, reliable, honest, hardworking, problem solver, trustworthy. In my kind of business, I think all my workers have the honest, hardworking, the honest, about the trustworthy. They are never lie. Because when in my business is people go through kind of incubation and then to the next 6 months, just zoom off the skills and everything. So I kind of shouldn't reliable be like a unique quality to say, okay, I can rely on you over certain period of time.
Yeah.
That means standouts.
Yeah.
So that's my first.
Yeah, it's a really, it's the right word. And customer relationships too, right? Like if you have a customer and they say, hey, I want Blessing back. She did a great job for me. Well, she's not here anymore. That's tough, right? So yeah, reliable is important. And so retention is the word I was trying to think of. It's like retaining your talent. I mean, part of that, honestly, well, it's an important manager. What are you doing to keep them there? And it's not just money, right? What are you doing to grow them, to expand them, to show them the vision? What's next for them? Some people, if they're going to leave, they're going to leave, right? You can't do anything about it. But there are some people, most people, in fact, many people who thrive on growth will stay. Oh, they're leaving because you aren't cultivating them or you're not, expanding their minds. I'm just saying, like, that's something. It's a skill that comes with time. So look for those traits, veterans here, who, what are some things that you can do to retain folks? This is not a flight risk type person. Anybody want to jump in on this? It's a great point. What is the question? So two parts. One is, if you have somebody you like, right? How do you keep them? How do you keep them engaged, other than just giving them more money? And then the second question is, you can answer either one or both, is when you look at your employees, how are you able to say, oh, this person's going to stay, this person's going to go? Are there ways to figure that out?
Yes, I take them along. There's a vision, there's a pattern that we grow together. And I take them along training capacity, business capacity building. So they go along with like we grow up together. And that's what I keep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Found a.
Thank you. My name is Alfred. I'll go share what was with us at UCAN Foundation.
Thank you.
So when people come in, I try to find out more about them. And the first question I usually ask is, where are you going? Because there are people who just want they want to pursue an education. And I just think where you going? Do you have interest in what we're doing? Do you have interest in it? Do you want to grow in a nonprofit where I'm working? So when you have an idea of where they're going, their destination, it helps you to prepare yourself better. It helps you to prepare yourself better to know that okay, this person is going to stay or whether this person is also going to leave. And something else you should also, as much as possible, but show love to them, to care about them, to be part of their groups. So when you do this, you have a big chance that they will stay. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Very good. Thank you. And I'll just, oh, please, yes. Thank you for your participation. This is great.
Thank you. The thing I thought is definitely you can't follow all these work, you have to get them stable for a particular period of time. So you have these things to work with for a year. Then after that year, then for every other mission that I'm giving, you can move on that. Then voluntarily they stay after that. But you know that within this
Very good. Thank you. So really great points. A couple, oh, yes, please.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Taufik. If one says we invest like in
Yeah, very consistent. Oh, please, we've got some more. Thank you.
okay, good morning.
Morning.
Okay, and I have just say I can help, but then one because that checks everybody what they want to do, even as long as they're okay with it. So that's what you want people don't check out. So you also empower you to do
okay, in Nigeria, all by ourselves. I noticed some companies in America, you work with them like 4, 5, 6, 10 years, they make you become like a co-owner. We don't have that in Nigeria. And that's a major problem. So you see people give their ideas to an institution. After 15 years, there's nothing tangible to
Yep.
get. It's a problem. Can build businesses that tell people that when you give a number of years, like 10, 15 years, you begin to earn the percentage of the profit, not necessarily salaries. People want to stay because they know there's something for them. So
And I said to avoid the money piece, but we all work for money, right? So let's not be bashful about that. That's the reality. Compensating folks to retain them, right? So everything else being equal, you do a great job as a manager, but if someone help their families, right? And so either whether it's quarterly or annually, having some type of incentive compensation tied to performance, whether it's the performance of the employee and or the performance of the organization. So let's say you set a goal for the year, you want to sell X number of whatever you're selling, services, products, right? And you have a team of folks, whether it's one person or multiple people, and you say, look, if we hit this goal, I'm going to share the profits. You get X% beyond this point, right? So that's, or even if the company doesn't do well, if you had somebody on your team and if you just grew the business like this, but if they were all in and they grew it like this, wouldn't you let them have a piece of it, right? Absolutely, right? It'd be very short-sighted not to have that. I don't know what the legal constructs are here, right? But that is something that's done, it's been done for hundreds and thousands of years, right? Is understanding that 2%, whatever it is, right? You want to do it so your ticket to keep away and they still have a piece of it. People stay, right? People stay. So great points. Everyone, great points. Thank you. I'm going to keep moving here. How am I on time? How am I on time? 19 minutes? Okay. All right, cool. This is one I'm actually kind of excited about talking. Well, I'm excited about talking about a lot of things, but this one I think is super practical. It's called the Traffic Light Decision Framework Matrix, so to speak. One thing that we all suffer from, I think, is wanting to control. And as your organization grows, the less you can control it and the less you should want to control it. The idea is to build a team around you that you can trust, so you can do other things. So to do that, to give up control, there are things that are less important than others, right? And so it's a very basic framework, but this is something you could install in anything. I mean, you could do it with your kids, right? Like, what are the tasks that you could do, that employees could do today, that are green? We're calling this green. You could call it level 1, 2, 3, however you want to frame it. Apples, oranges, bananas. But green are decisions that people can take without having to come to you first, right? Whether it's restocking or cleaning or ordering this amount of supplies or something, right? Or going and calling this customer about this problem. What are the things that, like, you're just giving them autonomy, right? People like autonomy. They want to be trusted. You can go do these things, okay? So that's green. The second one is yellow. This is a bit kind of in the middle. It's decisions that your employees can make, they can do, but you want them to tell you when you've done it. Or, hey, I'm going to go order this many of this product just because the inventory is low. I want to let you know I'm going to do it. That way you're just aware, right? Like, if money's being spent, or if someone's going to take time and go visit with a customer, right, and they're going to be gone for the day, or whatever it is, right? Some things you want to know about, some things you don't. You're like, great, go do that. Don't waste my time. Fine, yeah. Yellow is more like, I want to know. Or manager, so depending on how many levels you have, this is something that you want them to either come to you with a solution, or to come with you and ask and say, this is what I need approval for, right? And these will change over time with your comfort level with the person or their role. If you have multiple sets of employees, your direct reports, so the people who report directly can be mostly reds and yellows, right? So as they establish trust, as they move up in the organization, they're going to have more greens and yellows. Does this make sense? Any questions, thoughts, reactions? Do you like the red, yellow, green? I thought it was cool. I didn't come up with it, but I like it. All right, so I've got a few more minutes. There's two more things. Systems. So this isn't very glamorous, but systems are super important. And this young lady talked about it too, about retention, recruitment, like policies, right? So what are the things that you do? What processes exist today in your business that are in your head? That are just in your head. Oh, I know on every Monday I have to do this. Every Friday I call this customer. Every Wednesday night I do this, but they're not written down anywhere. This is the checklist I do before I do all these things, but it's not written anywhere. Wherever, right? Get it down on paper amongst your teams, right? I think one of the things that we as human beings just naturally miss is we think other people can understand what's in our minds or anticipate that. We can't, right? So if you think your employees know what you want and what you're thinking, they don't, right? They're thinking about what they want and what they need, right? And so if you can, and this is again a part of the vision, is like, these are the things that have made me successful. This is what I want you to do every Wednesday. This is the 6 things I want you to do before you close up the shop. These are the things I want you to do when you check in with a customer. Before you hang up, I want you to ask these questions, right? When we hire somebody new, I want you to set the expectation, either in writing or verbally, that the expectation is happen. The expectation is you stay for a year, right? Those are the things that you want to try and do and get on paper, or at least be able to communicate to people. But using technology, whether it's WhatsApp, and in most cases it's cheaper than bringing in somebody. I don't think it's a substitute for a person in most scenarios, but there are a lot of things that you can do, the shortcuts you can take, and not shortcuts in the way like you're not doing the right thing, but if more efficiently doing things. So use technology, use mentors, use other people who paved the way. Don't be shy about asking for help. I've had some success in my career, and I would attribute almost 90%, well, all of it to God, but the other 90% to other people who were smarter than me, who had done it before. And I said, how did you do that, right? People who are veterans, you've got people who are just starting. Learn to feel like you're in this bubble by yourself and that you can't. And some of this is obvious, but like just as a reminder that there is a community out there for you. So those are the major topics I wanted to talk about today. Open for any questions, thoughts. Green, yellow, red. Everybody's favorite. Okay, cool. Any questions? All right. So just to recap, you are the limiter of your business. If you are the decision point for every decision, you only have 24 hours in the day, right? You are going to be the limiter. Bread, I feed families, right? That vision needs to start with you. You need to believe it, and then you need to share it with your customers and your employees. What employees do you want to keep, and do you want to invest time into? And then how do you retain them, right? How do you retain them? A decision framework, it doesn't have to be my silly red, yellow, green, or someone else's silly red, yellow, green, but saying these are the things you can go do. Don't bug me about it, like out of the bank account, right? Or, you know what, these are really important to me right now. This customer is super sensitive because of something we did. If anytime you talk to them, come talk to me as well. Or like before you do, let me know because they're, a little hot right now, okay? And then the community. So those are the things for today. Thank you for your time. Oh, yeah.
My question, I have a question about communication and vision with stakeholders. So now, as you're trying to build a business, essentially, you are certain things and individuals you definitely scale through. You need your inputs or resources or something else. But one problem I have or have seen or have experienced, I believe that I've been to about four businesses between those. My business is consulting, but I help build their businesses.
Okay.
So there was a business I did in the middle of this last year, though, we kind of stopped because of, well, I'm just the person building the business. So, for example, we got accepted into certain incubation team to go into this market, these markets. But our stakeholders were like, no, this is not what we're seeing. So I had problems trying to make them understand. Because I feel that in a classroom,
the higher you go up, the more people you need to get consensus from, buy-in from, right? As a sole entrepreneur, like buck stops with you. You make all the decisions. You don't have to really ask anybody. But as you typically need more people to check in, right? Is whoever stakeholders is a perfect word, right? Because it encompasses a lot. I would say it's a bit of an art more than a science in terms of what you need to do. Part of it is partnering with the right stakeholders, are willing to learn and accept new things and take risks if that's what's important, right? If people are just like, look, I only understand farming, I don't want to do anything outside of farming. If you talk to me about apparel or fashion, I'm not even interested. Like, that's probably kind of part number one. And then the other part is storytelling and just the art of convincing people to do what they don't want to do or what you want to do is one of the great arts of this, right? So like that just takes time and practice. But if it's a person who's not going to listen, you've lost before you even started. So one of the things that one of my previous, and because they're people, and everybody needs different things. When you manage someone, you know how to manage them, or you want to learn to know how to manage them. If you have kids, you don't treat all your kids exactly the same. They all need a little bit of different special touch, right? Whatever it is, talk to them all the time. Some people are like, no, don't bug me, right? Some people so consider the stakeholders, what they want exist, and it's worked in this country before, let's try it here, right? So having data points that you can share and prove to people is super important. Are we done? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Ali. On the topic, how to use it to run your mission. I want to ask a question that's kind of like, oh, now, I believe communication is flow more than skills. Do you value the idea that relationship? They are like living more than like community in the house.
Yeah.
So I don't get your thoughts on that. Should we as founders try to be should also be deliberately looking for that person? Now we don't go, yeah, because it's not building false sales.
Yeah.
Should we also be looking for that person that is able to connect across everybody?
Yeah, that's a great point. We haven't talked about that, right? So part of team building is, I'll use basketball as an example. I am not great with customers. Do not let me talk to customers. I will make them mad. But if you need me to do some numbers with a calculator, I got you, right? So having people who lighten the mood, who can plan events, who can make people feel comfortable, who can lift the spirit of the group, yeah, absolutely, right? Now, are they going to be the next CEO? Probably not, but they play a fundamental role. Like if you have a team full of extroverts or a team full of introverts, that's going to be a little bit strange. You need different positions, right? So it's a great point, right? Like you spend 8 to 10 hours every day with these people. Like you want it to be as tolerable and enjoyable as possible. So yeah, we shouldn't lose sight of the human capacity, the human side of that. Now, if someone's comic relief, but they can't be trusted, well, then that probably doesn't work. But yeah, great point. Thank you, everyone.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
We learned about traffic lights, right? Green. What that is? Ownership. Let's give everyone ownership. Ownership separates you from being just an average performer to being the what? A future leader. It moves you from being an average performer to being a future leader. So right now we're inviting our second guest speaker for today's workshop. This man is the co-founder of a traffic company named Exico, a provider of exit software for managing investigations, disclosures, sanction screening, and news learning. It's currently serving as leader of over 8 million employees worldwide. He creates
It's our customers.
compliance professionals to efficiently protect their teams and enhance their colleagues' mission. Giovanni is passionate about leading a movement that puts community and care people at the heart of business. To help leaders at all levels serve the people and lead the teams to make the world a better workplace. As a first generation American, son of a Japan refugee from an entrepreneurial family, he has worked at innovative startups, national companies, or strategic initiatives. Please, with a round of applause, let's make welcome.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for being the passionate, excited, ambitious people that you are. I'd like you to raise your hand, not like this, right? Let's raise it the American way, nice and high, if you are or aspire to be an entrepreneur. All right, we have some people who aren't, but we got a room full of entrepreneurs here. And I believe that I believe that Jesus is the hope of life, and I believe that entrepreneurs are the hope of the economy. And I want you to know that the thing that you're trying to do is it's valiant, it's exciting, it's maybe scary at times, but this thing of building a business is not just providing for yourself and your family. That's great, right? It's great to provide for your family. But if and as you build this business, if by God's grace you are successful in building a business, you're giving jobs to other people. You're helping other people have the potential as you build this business, as you learn these things, as you work hard into the night, work hard through those challenges. You have the ability to provide jobs for other people and put food on their families' tables. You have the ability to build up your city and build up the economy in Benin City and in Nigeria. And you have the ability to build a vision, to build something that didn't exist before. This is the essence of entrepreneurship. Build something that didn't exist, that first exists in your mind and your heart. There are plenty of exciting things about being an entrepreneur. There's, the excitement of being the boss, maybe, of making some money, of having your dream come to life. And there are also a lot of challenges, right? We all deal with challenges all the time, whether, like Mr. Tussing was saying, dealing with the challenges of people, selling your vision and building your team. Who loved that presentation? How about Andrew Tussing with this great presentation? I thought it was wonderful. Thank you, Andrew. Let's get this mic a little different here. Challenges with sales, challenges with suppliers, or challenges with money. We meet a lot of challenges, but I really admire the journey that you're going on to be an entrepreneur and build a business. So I want to give you a little bit of background about myself. There was a great introduction here, so thank you so much for that. But I wanted to give you a little bit of sense of where I came from. My first business was when I was in secondary school, selling some candies to people. And part of what we're going to talk about today is that selling this candy was not because no one else could find candy. It was about finding a market, finding a place where people didn't have a chance to buy this and I could provide it. And that's what we essentially do as entrepreneurs. We build bridges, we build gaps, we fill needs. My first one was selling candies. As I got older, I ran a hot dog stand by doing something that we're going to talk about today, using community and borrowing and share, as we call it here. My third business was building a t-shirt printing company. So we would, I'm just going to hold this maybe. So we would find designs, we would make designs, and we would print t-shirts for organizations and charities and things like that. And that was all while I was in high school and college. And then from there, I went and got my degree. I worked for some businesses, and I ended up, you want to swap this? Thank you. Is this working? Oh, that sounds different too. My third voice of the day, huh? Look at this. So then, I went and worked for some companies. And then I went on the journey that ended up becoming Ethico what it is today. I run this business with my brother. We've had a lifelong dream. Just like many of you, we dreamed of running a company that would make a difference in the world, would make a difference in our lives, and help us build the life that we wanted for our families. Today, Ethico, I'm very proud about your vision. And part of what we do at our company, we sell software to HR departments, basically, right? We use software that the HR team uses to find out violations of policy and help build ethical cultures. But our vision for our company, to tie this back to this excellent presentation that we just had, our vision is about, we call it, make the whole world a better workplace. And our vision and our mission is to help leaders who care build ethical cultures and manage risk for 100 million employees around the world. And that's what our mission is. It's not just selling software. Talking about this today. We want to focus on the problem that we're solving, because solving problems for your customers is going to help you get the engine going of your funding, of your revenue, and of your cash for it. And by God's grace, we're thankful that today, I looked it up and swapped it. Today, our company is running at about 27 billion Naira and growing from there because of the wonderful team we have and by God's grace. Thank you. So I just want to give you a little bit of context as we get into these slides. So the title of this, or the mandate for this, was bootstrapping your business. And some people think about bootstrapping as, how am I going to get funding? And I want to help change our minds that how to bootstrap your business is about get your funding from your customer. So that sounds a little bit obvious, but we're going to dig into it. And there's some clever ways that you can think about your customer so that your customer fuels your growth. And we want to win the customer. We want to pay yourself fairly and keep a tithe almost, keep a part of what you make in the business to help your business grow and compound. So we're going to be going through this today. Before we start, I'd like a few people to tell me about your business. All right. So in this today, I don't want this to be a presentation. I want this to be a conversation. Okay. You guys can go on YouTube and watch 1,000 hours of people just talking about business. I want to put this in the context of what you're dealing with here. So I want to have a few people think about raising your hand, please. I want to have a few people talk about what is your business or your business idea, and what is a challenge that you think you're going to have around this idea of funding and sales and things like that. Let's get a couple volunteers. I want this to be about you guys. It's not about me and my ideas. This is about making you and your vision successful. So your business and a challenge around sales or funding or customer. We're not going to move on until we get a couple people in here. So let's get going with it, guys. Thank you, sir. What's your name, sir? Good morning.
Thanks for
Hi, Godwin.
genetics to this size.
Okay. Any challenge?
Something that we can use on them. Just know how to relate to the top content. So I think don't want to pay money, but want to enjoy the sound.
I see. And talk to me about the funding problem. Do you need funding to buy inventory, or you just need to find something that they can afford, or what?
To get inventory, because most times also because of expenses. So
Yeah.
it's not important both to get inventory, getting my inventions.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Give a hand to Godwin. All right, please raise your hand if the business that you run or you're thinking about running is going to deal with inventory, and funding inventory might be a challenge for you. Raise your hand nice and high.
So the major challenge of having right is having reliable workers. Yes, having reliable workers, and then funding to scale to other states. Thank you.
And what's your name, ma'am?
Francisca.
Thank you. Let's give her a hand. All right. Thank you. This is a good row. This is a row full of winners right here, jumping in and sharing with us. Thank you. Welcome.
My name is Mrs. Portia Daniel.
Hello.
We make bespoke dresses are ready to wear for women ages 18 to 65. I have performed 2D pro. My rent was raised 130%, and I was just blown away. I wasn't ready for that again. So I had to move the house. To let's go. And so
Okay.
in business and also space for fit. So the need to get a good workspace. That's
Wow. Yeah.
so I say that I'm going to be funded.
All right. Thank you. Let's give Portia a hand. All right. Raise your hand if you think you might deal with rent, cost of space in your business, and that might be something that you need to get funding for. Thank you. Okay, we got 3 or 4. I got to find out what you guys are challenged by. Okay, someone else, jump in, please. Oh, sorry. Raise your hand if for the prior one, if you might need funding to expand to new areas and to hire the right kind of employees. Anybody think they might be challenged by that? Okay, that's a popular one. Thank you. All right, one more, and then we'll get going, please.
Okay, so my name is Elizabeth. I electric vehicles, solar power station here in Nigeria. And one of my biggest challenge is access to inventories like equipment, machines that I can actually use to build stuff. But right now, I'm actually partnering with the institute. Thank you.
All right, great. Give her a hand. Thank you, Elizabeth. Anybody think buying equipment so that you can do the work that you need to do might be a challenge for you? Okay. So thanks for sharing that. I want to make sure that we're talking about things that are relevant to you because, someone that's a tech startup or selling products or needs machinery have all different types of issues. And what I find is that there's a lot of commonality around these things. So I want to get into this. And remember, please, anytime, raise your hand, okay? That's not interrupting. It's adding to the conversation. So if anything I say doesn't make sense, don't be shy. Say, hey, Mr. Again, this is not a YouTube video, right? We're all here in the same room. Look, I can even walk closer to you. So like, we're in the room together. Let's talk about this and get into it together. This one. Okay. So we just did this. All right, cool. The base of this is I want to help you think about what you can do without a loan. Listen, if you can get a loan, if you can get a grant, if someone just gives you a couple million free money, then that's great. That's awesome. Go like be responsible with it. Make sure that you can use that to grow and pay back the loan or whatever it is. But there are a bunch of things that we can do as entrepreneurs that doesn't require that loan. So venture capital is scarce, waiting for outside money. You're going to be waiting around. Like a customer who pays today funds your growth today and your growth tomorrow if you set the right price, manage your costs properly. And a lot of one of the most powerful concepts in business is compounding. Okay, raise your hand if you know what compounding interest means. Okay, so this is this concept. I was asking some secondary boys yesterday whether they would rather have $1 billion or 1 billion naira today, or they would rather have 1 naira today, 2 naira tomorrow, 4 naira after that, 8 naira after that, doubling every day. Okay? And the concept here, I won't make you guys guess because I don't want you to choose sides here. The concept here is that 1 a day, 2, 4, in like 1 month becomes bigger than 1 million. In like a month and like 6 days or something becomes bigger than 1 billion. All on equipment, or spend it all on inventory, or spend it all on feeding your family and paying your employees. Letting that profit grow so you can reinvest from the business instead of waiting for another loan to grow is going to be a powerful engine for your business. And we want to talk about how the source of that is sales. And part of what a lot of people give advice on about business, it's called be obsessed with the customer. Be obsessed. Okay? You want to live, eat, when you drink your coffee, your customer is the key to you funding your business. So the right customer, the right price, and keeping a slice is going to get you to where you want to go. This is going down. Okay. So my big thing, but figuring out how to pair a problem, a pain, something that they wish they had, pairing a desire of your customer with your solution is really the key to all of this. In some ways that sounds obvious, and in some ways you can be thinking about that and working on that for decades and still be learning more about it. This is a well that has no bottom. So I want to encourage everybody, a lot of times when we come to an event like this, or you go to something like this masterclass, it can have you start to think that the way to get better is to make your product better, to get a better logo, to get more equipment. And what I want to encourage you to do is to work with what you have, because the ability to sell, the ability to provide value is baked within what you have right now. So instead of trying to polish your offering and your business more, I want to help you focus on use what you have and find the market for it. Find the person that wants what you have and use that funding to build more. Get in front of customers. Pitch your service more. Find other ways to get in front of people who haven't heard about what you're doing, who haven't considered this type of solution, haven't thought about doing it this way, and get in front of those customers and try and try and try again. I want to encourage you about this idea of try to get to 100 people telling you no. Okay, sometimes that's hard for all of us as humans. It's hard for all of us as entrepreneurs to hear somebody say, no, I don't want that. No, we're not interested. No, we already have a vendor for this. You go to the next door, you go to the next block, you make the next WhatsApp call, you ask somebody on LinkedIn, whatever it is. By the time you get to 100 no's, you get 100 no's, you know what else is out there? There's 100 more no's, and you can keep working through it. But once we stop that fear of, well, maybe this isn't good enough. Maybe someone won't like what I'm doing. Maybe I'm not big enough and they don't think, like you have to push away that self-doubt and push through the no's, because even if you get 100 no's, it's probably going to be 99 no's and 1 yes, or 10 yeses or something like that. But even without that, you're going to be learning something. Someone's going to tell you, no, we like this thing better. No, I like that knowledge is going to lead to you solving the problem and positioning your product. And that knowledge and positioning is going to get a loan as currency. We want that loan to help fuel our business. The trust that you can build is currency. So how can we build trust? Well, you can leverage your own relationships, right? Here's my dream. Do you know someone that you can tell me, giving you any Naira for anything can be a source that, yeah, you can make a case study of that, right? You can really, you don't sales. Nobody's done selling. Even if, you're the biggest company in Nigeria, what is it? The guy that does cement or something? Even if you're that, you can always learn more about selling, learn more about your customer. Okay, so this concept of positioning is really important. It's also one of these things that you can always refine. Sales is the source of your capital and funding. It's the source of your intelligence, of what works, your learnings about what works and doesn't work. And the way that you position it is really important. Andrew did a great job talking about what's our vision for our business. And that was kind of about your employees, right? That vision a lot of times is for your employees. And that's like the paint on the inside of these walls, right? Your employees are inside your business and they want to understand what is your view of where the business is going. And you can sell that vision, get great people to work for you, get them to understand what you really care about. The positioning is kind of like the bricks and the paint on the outside of the building, right? You have your business. The way that you position your product is really important. So it's not just soap. It's not just cleaning. It's having a proud child who goes to school. You're not just selling chicken if raising chickens and selling to people that they're serving. Someone who has a restaurant or they're serving their family. Yes, they want to feed people, but they want to be proud of what they do. And the ultimate thing here is when you're selling, you want to make sure you're not focusing too much on yourself. Sometimes your vision for your employees is focusing on yourself. You say, I'm the visionary. Here's my dream for this. Come along with me. Let's be co-laborers for this. But part of what you want to do with your customers is really focus. You need to realize that that person is doing it for themselves. Okay, so all of sales are not made because they love what you're doing and they love you. She does it because the people you're selling to buy a drill, a drill that you use to do construction and you make a hole to put a screw in. Nobody buys a drill. They buy a hole. Okay? They don't want to have a drill. No one cares about a drill. They need a hole to put a screw in so they can do their job. And what they're buying is the solution. What they're buying business called the ICP. What is your ideal customer? So I want people who want to buy some chargers for their phones. What you want to do is try to figure out the ideal person. Get closer and closer to the exact concept of who that person is. Is it someone they can trust because the product shows up all the time? All three of those types of people might buy the same type of product, but they're buying it in different ways from different people. I'm different from all the other people work within a couple of weeks. I'll come back and fix it and not charge you. Not everyone else does that, but I do that because I care about it. And someone who says, hey, you know what? I want this thing to be reliable. I don't want to be hustling and haggling with somebody and making sure that it's good and checking that the wires are all there. If you care about that, in addition to it working and having good quality and all of that, this thing is what's unique. The ideal customer profile is tied to something that's unique about your business. And many of us at times think, well, there's not really anything unique about me. I'm just trying to get this thing sold. I'm just trying to build this business. I just want someone to buy from me. I'll make something big or small or cheap or expensive or whatever. I just want them to do that. And that's fine. That's part of what we do as entrepreneurs. We're hustling, right? Someone says, oh, well, I'd like it this different way. You say, you know what? I'll do it for you. I haven't done it before, but I'm a problem solver. I'll figure it out. And that's fine. But what you want to do over time is more and more narrow. And who is the customer that cares about that thing and they want it? And you want to dig into that and try to figure out, how do I talk about that? How do I get a story from a customer that later you already paid the guy and it's like, making all this weird noise and it doesn't work, right? Have you had that? And they're like, yeah, you know what? I haven't, but my buddy had that. And he was telling me this crazy story, blah, blah, blah. It was so bad. Okay, cool. Well, the way that you solve that is you work with someone like me, trustworthy, honest, I do great work, and I guarantee my work or whatever it is. That trust can be your capital. And the way you figure out who cares about that, someone else maybe doesn't care about it. They say, that's fine. Ideal customer. The guy that says, hey, I got to focus on my restaurant. I want people to have a good time. I'm hosting this thing. I just need good audio equipment. Then that's your ideal customer. And you want to dig into who is it? Like, what are they about? What kind of person are they? What do they care about? What do they not care about? Who is it? Who need what? Not just who need clothes on their body, right? Who needs stylish clothes or well-fitting clothes or clothes that express themselves or clothes that protect them or clothes that are words. Write down 15 words, write down 50 words, and then boil it down to something. The more you dig in on this, I'm telling you guys, I've been doing my business as I learned last month that this person, seen anyone do that before, that was really great. It's not a better website. It's not sending, just sending out more things. It's making sure that the words you use, the promises you make, and the commitment that you have to your customer and your market is really focused on what matters to them. So who is it? What do they need? What result do they need? Feel when they wear clothes, not just the clothes. Sophisticated but kind of stylish or whatever. They just say, I need clothes, and you need to figure out, well, do you like this kind of thing? So figure out the result, not the product, but the result. What happens after you sell the product? And they use it, and they like it, and they tell their friends about it. What are they telling their friends about? They don't say, oh, I got this box in the room. I think it might be the sound. I don't know what all the wires mean and stuff like that, but it's something that, like, the whole environment is chicken that they're buying. If you get through all of this, you should be refined. People buy to solve a problem. If you don't have status, you kind of feel kind of bad and like no one really respects you, right? If you don't have convenience, there's kind of some pain, right? If it's not efficient, there's some pain. Please raise your hand if you don't have paper. We're going to be writing some things down. Anybody need some paper? Anybody need a pen? Okay, so I'd like you to change your idea from the product or the service to the result, or talk about a pain point that you think is really specific, right? The pain point for really good chicken is not just someone's hungry, right? You could eat 1,000 things if you're hungry, but it's this specific thing that I do that really makes it different, that really you want to get this result, and you really are tired of this other thing that you're dealing with. So we're going to take a minute or two. I just want you to jot something down. My goal today is that you walk away with some homework, okay? Maybe you guys didn't really like homework in school, but I want you to walk away with something that you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be thinking about that on the way home. You know what? I want to fill out the rest of this worksheet that we do, because I think this is something that's going to help me think about my business differently, because everything in the world exists in your mind before it exists in reality. And for you to sell differently, for you to get your customer to start funding your sales, you can work on, and you can go from there. So we'll pause for a minute. Let me know if you guys have questions. I'll just give us a minute, and then you guys can get started on that. We'll keep moving. All right, just jot something down. Even just jot down these 4 words. Who, they need what, they get a result, and they want that result without what pain. All right, we're going to jump into it. I want to get through some other things. Underestimates how good you can get on this, how different this is going to be when you have a bunch of sales rolling in. I hope that you look back at the way you've thought about your business, how you position it, who your customer is, and 2 months from now, a year from now, you say, when you become an expert and a professional on your customer and your positioning, it can really change a lot. Have that water, please, Caleb? No, I guess not that one. Is that yours? Okay. Oh, there it is. Cool. Okay. So I want to help you guys step out of the vacuum. Make sure you don't position your business about what you're passionate about, but position around what makes people in this economy decide to pay, right? There's this concept of separating somebody from their money takes something special. People don't give up their money lightly, right? Everyone here, everyone around here, everyone in the world holds their money dear, right? This is their source to take care of their children, to buy the things that they need, to build a better life. And separating them from their money is not an easy task. It's not just I have something. It's I have something special that you're going to get from me that's going to be better than everything else. 2 handouts that are going to be emailed around to you. Some of them have some free resources for you to dig deeper on this. Some of them, there's a slide later with an AI prompt that can help you turn this into some coaching for yourself, because there's only so much we can do in about an hour here. But I want to help you guys go through. So name your customer, who exactly buys, what do they already want, and reach for what they have and where they already are. Okay, we're going to get going to the next section here. Okay, so as you're doing this positioning, you want to pick how you win, okay? And it's tempting as an entrepreneur to say, hey, you know what? People can buy from me for anything, right? You want convenience? I'm convenient. You want high quality? I'm high quality. You want fast? But the way, listen, This has always been kind of hard for me to internalize. This has been a challenge for me because I feel like, hey, you know what? I could do any of that. I could be faster than the competition. I could be better than the competition. I could be higher quality than them. I could be more stylish than them. A, it's going to like overpower somebody. They're not going to like track it all. B, they're probably not going to believe me. And C, this is the biggest one. It's not going to resonate with them because some people want something more than something else. So you need to pick some things like this and say, hey, I'm mainly this one, and we're also really good at these things. Because if you say you're everything, nothing is everything, right? That the way you're doing that, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, is probably not making enough money for yourself. Because someone else is putting in labor to that. Someone else is putting in diesel. They're running a gen. They're doing running a gen. They're doing transport and they're paying for that. Somebody else is paying for data and paying for their computer and paying for the rent. And if you don't put that in there and you say God doesn't call us to just the year of Jubilee and a tithe, just a price, and pick one of these and really specialize in it. That's where it starts opening up on this. It's double layered. This is really high quality. So you know what? If you need me, I'll come over that afternoon. Okay, you're not going to be waiting 2 or 3 days without your machine working. I'll be there right away. This is what we do. We're going to be fast. This is convenient. This is service. You know what? I'll walk you through it. I'll make sure you understand it. Stuff like that. Pick one of these or something like this that you could really lean into and let people know that you're special. Okay? God endows each of us with gifts. God has given each of you a personality from your university class, or a bunch of people from your neighborhood might start the same business. They would do it a different way. They would say, maybe I'll cut those corners. Or they would say, you know what, I'm just going to do fast. And you say, you know what, the way to do it is slow and steady wins the race. I'm going to do it slow and really good. The way that you've been gifted, the way that you've been blessed should be expressed through your business. This is something that's going to be a big part of your life, and do the thing that you have conviction on that's special for you, and stand strong with your customers and say, this is what we do. If you want that cheap thing, if you want that low price thing, if you want to have to rebuy your equipment every 6 months because it breaks, that's fine, go somewhere. So you want to be able to say this out loud and say it to yourself. Say it to your team. Say it to the people who you're selling to. This line down here, rest. Okay, pick something and stand on it and say, listen, our price is great. When you see our quality, the price is awesome. Our service is plenty for you. You have all the service that you need. But what you'll get with me is this. You want to say it out loud, say it to yourself, say it in the mirror, say it to your brother, pick these and make that part of your ethos. Make it part of what you stand for. Say it until you're tired of hearing your employees and your customers say it back to you, and then keep saying it some more. You need to pick this, and you really need to dig in on it, because this is how you make the stuff we were talking about. This is what I stand for, and this is what you will always get from me. If you ever get something from me that is not these, then tell me, because something went wrong, because we are great at this, and I will guarantee, and I will stand by, and I will make sure that we're always great on this. And that type of thing is something that opens up someone's ears, and they say, wow, no one's really been that passionate about selling phone chargers before. I don't even care that much about it, but this person is so passionate about high quality phone chargers, and they'll service them so that I don't have to repair the wire or whatever it is. Like whatever it is, if you're hyped up about it and you say, I don't know if you ever knew about high quality shoelaces or whatever it is you're selling, but these are the best quality, and you're so excited about it, some people will be like, man, that guy loves shoelaces. Let me try some of those shoelaces. All right, you got to be passionate about it. You got to live it, and you have to really lean into it and plant yourself in it and say, this is what we're about. I'm good enough on the rest, right? Right? Whatever I said before. Quality and convenience is wonderful. Speed is good enough. It's good speed. I'll get it to you in a week. You know, if you need it in 3 hours, there's someone else that'll charge you different for it, but I'll get it to you this week, and it'll be great quality, and it'll be great, very convenient. So you want to really lean into this. So I want to move into something that's more capital related. I really want to spend the first half on that sales thing, because I'm really convinced. I've seen it in my businesses. Everything before the business that I'm in, I started with no capital. Okay, I didn't have startup money. I didn't have a grant. So one is this software as a subscription, and we know at the start of the year, if we have 1,000 customers, we know that at the end of the year, based on what we've been doing, we're going to have 9 hot, because we can predict our sales, we can predict our hiring, we have stability in our revenue and stuff like that. Not everybody has that opportunity, right? People don't subscribe to buying new equipment every 17 years or something like that, but you can use that concept in some different ways. So you can have an informal subscription, right? You can have repeat orders that maybe someone doesn't promise you, maybe you're not going to go take money out of their bank account if they don't buy next month, but finding a customer that you know needs this every 45 days. You know that they're going to buy one of these a quarter, you know that out of this class at this school, there are at least going to be 20 people who need their computer fixed every quarter or something like that. Finding those customer groups, finding those types of customers, this next workshop here, to be thinking about how to tie that positioning, that ideal customer, to getting more predictable revenue. So maybe where you're at, you haven't even made a sale, or you're just trying to buy thing on a recurring basis. Sometimes that's easier said than done, but just thinking about not just making that one sale, but how can I build a relationship, going to the same area on a research to last me a lifetime. Like, I don't need that much more. And he's like, I'll be back next year. I'll be back in August. I'll come check with you, and I'll see if you need anything. And I thought I had enough shirts to last a lifetime. By the time next year came, maybe 8 months later, one of them ripped a little bit. You know, I got tackled by my son, and I'm going to buy some from him. And me as a customer, I said, hey, you know what? I already bought. I was happy with it. I know he's coming back in August, and I'll buy something then. Have model something that's like a subscription. So another one is bundling. Okay, so when your products can be a great way to go. I want to encourage you guys to pause a little bit, because what you don't want to do is just always be changing your product mix, always be doing something else. I sold someone shampoo yesterday, and then I'm selling them some nail polish next week, and then after that I'm going to add on some hair product, and then you have too much to manage. You don't want to go too crazy with this. But if you have people who they know you, they like, and then we started saying, hey, some people need help doing things outside of the software, and we started doing some consulting with it. I've done that in my other businesses. We were doing t-shirts, how you can use the people who already know you, who are already buying from you. Your ICP can stay the same. You can say it's still high quality, it's still great service, and it's still good enough on the rest. But you have a different product, and those people say, yeah, I love high quality and high service. You got something a little bit different, I'll do that. That can help expand the base of your revenue in product. Okay, so if you have product, consider do you have a question, sir? No? If you're selling a product, is there a service you can do alongside of it? Say, oh, okay, I can come and show you how to use this. Or you get a few friends together, and I'll teach you about what's really important about this, how to wear these clothes. So these days are doing their ticket laces for them or whatever it is. About that, no thanks. Like, I'll let you know when I want to buy some shoelaces. Or some people will say, oh, that's pretty interesting. I always wondered about that. And you can pair your product with a service, or you can pair your service with a product. You're not going to go from selling someone to stay close to what you're doing and see how you can keep a bunch of things the same, your ideal customer the same, the way that you differentiate the same, the kind of product category the same, and do it a little bit differently. Okay, so I want to give you guys a little speed MBA. You guys have been through this masterclass. Maybe you've heard of this before, but I want to encourage you guys, the velocity of money, so I'll say that again, the speed of your money can be more important than the size of your sale. And what do I mean by that? So if you buy 100,000 Naira of stock and you sell it in a month for 130,000, then you make a 30K profit. Okay? So that might seem good. 3 months, maybe you don't compound it and you don't buy 130 the next month. You take the 30 out, buy another 100, and then you have 90K of profit over 3 months, right? Feels pretty good. It's a good start. I can build a business on that. Now, if instead you buy 50K and sell it in 2 weeks for 65, it's the same 30% margin, but then you get to 90K plus instead of a month. Selling it faster gets your money moving faster, and you can reinvest that and compound that faster. Instead of it doubling every month, if it doubles every 2 weeks, or instead of doubling it every month, it goes up 50% every 2 weeks. If you keep doing that, then that money moving faster is basically not as much money sitting on the shelves. Class on the cost of inventory, that's costing you money even if you're not paying for it. Because if you could get it out there and sell it, then you can make money on it faster. And think about ways that you can move through things faster. It's not just doing more, but getting through half the stock every 2 weeks instead of the whole stock in a month can get you moving faster through that. So don't let your cash or your stock sit still. I've seen a bunch of people mess up what they're doing in their business, sits there for a bunch of months, and they don't have money to spend on the other things, or they bought the wrong things, or it's sitting there too long. You want to be able to move through things faster, because speed is just as much of a game in business as your profit margin or the total money that you make. And because of that power of compounding, you're going to know more what people care about. You're not going to have as much stuff sitting around that you need to figure out what to do with. And trying to get your business moving faster, even if it's smaller sales, a little bit less profit margin, can be a lot better for you. So those faster cycles can help you outcompete and out-earn your competitors. Okay, so get your paper out. We're going to go through a little exercise here, and I want to help you guys think about as you're funding your business. We're trying to move away from this concept of maybe someone can give me funding, maybe I can get a loan or get a grant or something. Again, if you can do that, that's great. But move away from that for what can you do on your own. So I want to help you guys think about this idea of your total costs. Okay, so I want you to get out your paper. You should be able to have at least 6 lines on it. And we're going to do a little workshop in a minute. Hey, Taye. So just in like maybe 5 minutes, I have a word. Okay, so I want to talk about this variable trap. So a lot of times when people haven't been through this and haven't learned these lessons, they at times will just price what they're doing based on the variable cost in your fabric. Okay, if you're making soap, it's the things that you put in soap. I don't know what you put in soap, something like powder or something. Yeah. But it's those things that you put in. But there are a bunch of other costs in your business, and I want to help you guys think about it. To tie something through this whole presentation. Your customers, all of your costs. There are a bunch of costs other than the things that go into your product. And I want to help you guys understand that our God is a God of bounty. And He can provide for us in a bunch of different ways. And we don't have to sell so close to just our product input costs. So the variable trap is materials are only half the story. There are a bunch of other things, your transport, your data, your fuel, your own time. Okay, when we're starting out as entrepreneurs, then your pricing is wrong, your customer's wrong. If it can't support someone else working for it, then it can't support you working for it too long. So I want to bring in this concept of owner's pay, okay? So raise your hand if you've thought about when you start your business or in your business right now, guaranteeing yourself a certain amount of money that you're going to take out no matter what. Anybody thought that no matter what, I'm going to pay myself a salary? Okay, a couple people. But a bunch of people aren't doing that. Some of you might say, well, I don't know if it's enough for it, or I can't do that until I get big enough. And that's fine. Some of us start that way. But in order to get to the place where you can guarantee yourself a salary, you can say, hey, this is going to support me and my family, and I'm going to keep doing it. In order to get there, you need to make sure that your pricing is right for your owner's pay. And then you also need to put something on that you keep in the business. If you confuse your owner's pay with your profit, then, to use that example earlier, if we bought 100,000 Naira of product and we made 30,000. If I need all that 30,000 to pay myself and keep my family safe and fed and stuff like that, then I'm only going to stay at 100,000. I put in 100,000, I get 130, I take 30 out, and I put in 100,000. And you're going to keep doing that until somebody gives you some more money, right? You're going to be waiting for a loan still, and you're just going to be at 100,000. And maybe that's fine, but we want to dream big dreams here, right? We're entrepreneurs. We want to have a great company. We want to have a huge company. We want to provide for ourselves and dozens of our friends and loyal employees. And you need to build in market earlier, especially when we're a small business. We're not likely to have a cost advantage. If you think that you're cheaper than everybody else, it's probably because you're just charging for materials, and you keep spending money that you spend on fuel, or you keep spending the time that you do on transport, or you keep spending the stuff that you need to reinvest in the business, and you need your materials, your fixed costs, and all of those things. If it can't bear a price that covers your materials and a fair wage for you, then this is basically a hobby and not a business. All right, and that's a hard reality. You more, you need to do something differently, find a different customer. So it's over there. Can we go next slide, please? Okay, so we're going to map your owner's pay card. We can move to the Word doc, please, Taye. And I'm going to pull a worksheet up here that gives some more context on here, and get this into something that's relevant for your business. So the first one that you can get started right now is your variable cost. Think of a single unit, okay? So in MBA and finance, we call this unit economics. And you say one unit that you sell, maybe you want to sell 200 pieces of equipment, or you want to sell 30 dresses, or you want to sell 500 pieces of soap, or whatever it is. Let's break this down to one unit, one thing that you sell, and start with your variable cost for that. Taye, whenever you want to pull up that Word doc, do you see it in the email? So start with that and list the cost that you put into one unit, 1 bar of soap. So start with all of this consulting. Can we try the Excel sheet? I think maybe it didn't convert. That's wonderful. Either one. All right, we can go with this. So materials cost per unit and other variable costs. So if you go into it, And then let's look at your the owner's pay that you need in a month. So write down the pay that you would want. If you don't have it yet, say, hey, this would be something that would be comfortable. If you can't think of that, then use the illustration that Mr. Tussing did and said, hey, if I wasn't running my business and I stepped away for a month, how much would I have to pay someone to do this? Right? They're working 8 hours a day, or they're working 15 hours a day, or whatever it is. Have a week, and then you're going to take your units per week divided by your owner's pay per week, and get to a number to do this. And then you're going to basically add up number 1, number 2, and number 5. Okay, so number 1 is material cost per unit, right? What are the materials that go into your unit of service or unit of equipment? How much is the thing that you cost? What are your other variable costs? Your fuel, your packaging, things like that. And then 3, 4, and 5 are just a formula to get to your average owner cost per unit. And then you're going to add those up, and that's going to get to your true floor price. And even if you guys aren't getting through all of this right now, we need to move a little bit quickly. I want to show you some other stuff that's on here. I'm going to send this around to you, and there's some formulas in here to do it. But when you compare line number 6 to your current selling price, that should give you some sense of whether your current selling price at the number of units that you're selling is enough to provide for the owner's pay that you have. Anybody want to talk about this, or have something that doesn't make sense? Oh. So I'm going to go fast through a couple of these other things. I tried to make these slides so you can read them and make sense of them. There's also some resources in here, but most of what I wanted to go through, we've already gone through, which I talked about. Your customer is your capital. Figure out who your customer is and what they care about, that pain point. Make sure you position it properly, really specifically, and then make sure that that positioning gets you a price that can handle your owner's pay and this cash cushion. Okay? So thank you for that. So the parable of talents is about, we've been blessed with something. That thing is supposed to grow. Okay? So a lot of times it can feel hard when we're entrepreneurs, we're starting out, we're just trying to get it going, we're just trying to get some money so we can kind of keep selling some stuff. But part of what you want to work toward, and this is what God calls that we bring home for our owner's pay, we should be doing a notebook and say, hey, right, let me move it. You want to find how to make sure that, 100,000 Naira, or you're back at the same inventory. You need to get out of you. If it's stuck in people who didn't pay you right, or if it can just be stuck in, you need that money to, take care of your family, and to put food on the table and stuff like that. You need to figure out how to get that unstuck. And the path to getting that unstuck, if you're not having this 10% each year, 10% each month, right? It's 10% no matter what the time period is, because, you make more money in a month than you do in a week. But if you don't have that 10% per cycle going in or something like that, hey, just make more money. But that's so that you're making enough money to get through this. And if that's not working, you need to figure out how to either get it unstuck or get into a new way of doing things. So make sure that as a godly steward of your time, talent, and your treasure, you're building something that can have a surplus, that can have some excess. In the Bible, God talks about the year of Jubilee. God talks about a Sabbath, right? A lot of us are working all the time, especially as an entrepreneur. I do it myself, right? Some of it, we're blessed with an engine where we can keep going, but also you want to make sure that hustle, that ambition doesn't drain you and drain the bounty that God has that's ready for you. And if you want to do the math on that worksheet and figure out if you have room for this, and if not, try to get things unstuck and take it a different way. So in case you're kind of thinking that this is stuck, what are the next two here? Yeah, okay, I want to go through these next two. Hey, you know what? That's easy for Gio to say. He's coming in here and telling us about it. He doesn't know what it's like running a business in Benin. That's true, I don't. But I believe in you guys. You guys are here for a reason. You've been called to this moment for a reason. You're in this room because you've been called by God to build this business or a business and be the way I was going to make it. But God has blessed me so much, and look where I am right now. And you need to believe that it can happen, and you need to try to figure out a way to do it. So some ways that to understand about your product and say, hey, you know what? That means that someone that you can keep doing that. Not with every person all the time, but you can follow that network, and that's a powerful way that you can use the resources that you have, or not just the diesel that you have, not just the gigabytes on your data plan, but your resources are your heart, your resources are your people and your community, and use whether you're a scholar or you're an entrepreneur or you know someone that brought you here as a +1, whatever it is, you're all part of a family here. We all have our own ambition. LinkedIn, ask someone, hey, who is that person I saw over there? Do you know them? And use that brain power. We can do this all in community, and someone can say, hey, I can help you with your positioning. Hey, you know what? Yeah, I thought about this a certain way and share with you. You might be able to trade your time for access. Some people have some apprentices in their business, right? I did this for years when I was young. I went and worked somewhere for free or underpay because I was getting experience. You can go use some of your time and say, hey, I'm usually sell this to some people, but let me do that for you, and then I can use your space a little bit. I can use that a couple days a week. Can I use the lights here? I'll bring my own data or whatever it is. See if you can bridge that gap. Eventually, you'll have enough to pay for everything, but if you need to defer some of those costs, see if you can use your network, use your community, use the A2S entrepreneur space, the entrepreneur hub to get through some of that, or share the heavy costs with some other people. Even if you can't get into a shared space, see if you can find some friends here, some other entrepreneurs, and say, hey, let's all use power together. We only need one Wednesday or whatever it is, and see if you can build some of that to just build yourself to a bridge that where you want to have your pricing eventually be able to support all of those costs. But if for some time you can defer some of those costs, then it's going to help. Share those heavy costs. And the A2S Entrepreneur Hub is a great thing if you can get access to it. So this is the last thing I want to leave you with. Just so you guys know, there's some other stuff in here that are prompts for you to do. I would love if we had some more time to talk through this and do some workshops and things like that. But we're almost at time here. But the slide that I'm sending around have some prompts for you to sit down with your journal, just working on the business, or not just working in the business, but work on the business. And even if this is just a half hour in a week, I'm going to pull these slides back up and look at them and just write down some ideas I have. And I'm just writing prompts in here. And I want to encourage you guys to walk out of here with this pledge, and we'll get back to it. But I want to leave you with this one thing. One of my favorite ways to use AI, it's to use AI. So you don't have to write this down. This is going to come around in the slides. You guys are welcome to write it down if you want. But this is a prompt that you can drop in. You can drop it in on Meta, on ChatGPT, on Gemini, whatever it is, and specific about that. And you say, this is one of my favorite ways to do it. I go to a chat and I say, hey, interview this like kind of good presentation from Mr. Gio, or like, I got this really awesome presentation. Let's go through this and help me implement these things. But go through these, sharpen how I describe my business, help me set a price. You can go through this yourself, but also an AI chat is a great way to use as a thought partner to help you figure out some other things that you haven't done yet. So finally, I think we're close to time here. More differently, if you feel like you're capital constrained, if you need to bootstrap your business, right? Bootstrapping is, hey, I don't need someone to pick me up. I'm going to pick my own boots up, and I'm going to lift myself up in the air. You're going to pick yourself up by your bootstraps. I want to encourage you, even if you have a successful business, even if you already have 3 employees and you're paying yourself a salary, make this pledge and say, by noon tomorrow, I will bring an offer that's backed by my authority, my experience, my passion, the thing that I dedicate to 3 new networks. Go to houses, go to a bit is important for you. I've been selling this to shop. We started earlier about not getting stalled in the perfection trap. Okay, and a lot of us, I'll go back to this, a lot of us as entrepreneurs think, hey, you know what? I just need to do these things that are going to make it easy, and then it's not a